Good morning. It's Sunday, March 23rd. And when I grew up in the Bronx, for the first 14 or so years of my life, I lived on Walton Avenue at 183rd Street. That was an extremely Jewish neighborhood. There were several shuls, small shuls around the corner, and a couple of blocks away on the Grand Concourse, there was another great shul, and that's where I was bar mitzvahed, and that was at the Jacob Schiff Center. And I had a terrific life when I lived in the Bronx, and I never encountered anti-Semitism until I moved to Bronx Park East, and I went to Columbus High School. And at Columbus High School, there were a group of students who came from City Island. Now, City Island is an isolated place with a very small population, and almost no Jews lived on City Island. And unfortunately, many of the students who came from City Island and went to Christopher Columbus High School were anti-Semitic. And I encountered them several times in the lunchroom when I happened to be alone eating, and they knew I was Jewish for some reason. Maybe because I spoke a little Yiddish and I kidded around with the kids in school and everything. But they would harass me because I was Jewish. And I didn't really take it that seriously, and I tried to avoid them, but that was a difficult thing to do. But my neighborhood, my new neighborhood where I lived at when I went to Columbus High School was a very mixed neighborhood. We had a housing project there that was called the Coops. And the Coops had every denomination you could think of living in it, because that set of buildings was constructed by a trade union. I believe it was a trade union that was involved in clothing, in manufacturing of clothing, and in New York we had the garment industry where many people worked sewing clothing and creating clothing, and a lot of those people lived in that housing project, and we had every color, every size, and every shape living in that building. So it was a very mixed neighborhood, and anti-Semitism didn't really exist in that neighborhood, but it existed at the high school. And so that was an interesting thing. So now when they talk about anti-Semitism, and when they talk about passing a bill to expand the definition of anti-Semitism, I don't know that you can expand the definition of anti-Semitism, because I think it will crop up in many places, in many shapes, and in many sizes. So how do you find somebody's view of another nationality or another race? How do you define their view of that in terms that can change or get better or get worse? If you do not like people of color, then you're a racist. And what is the definition of a racist? I don't know. And so what is the definition of an anti-Semite? Similarly, I don't know. They hate a particular group of people for some reason or other. And to what extent they hate? That's a whole other animal. Some people hate people they've never come across. I bet you there are lots of people who have never seen a Jew, never been close to a Jew. Because if you look at us, we live in very few places in the world. And we're very small communities when we're there. So in the United States, we have New York City, we have California, we have Chicago probably, where we have fairly large population of Jews. But outside of Israel and in the United States, I don't know where there's any really large population of Jews. Maybe London has a large, I don't know. But it stands to reason that anti-Semitism is something that grows and is bred because people don't understand the value of other races and other creeds. And I don't want to brag about all the Nobel Prizes that the Jews have won compared to every other nationality in the world. We are smart. We are very proud of getting educated. We send our children to the best schools we possibly can. We appreciate that. We appreciate getting a great job and doing wonderful things for the rest of the world. So why? Why does anti-Semitism exist? Well, it exists because in human nature, everybody has to have something that they look down upon. So they look down upon the Jews, a small population in terms of size in the world, and they don't know us, but they hate us. And so I don't know if you can ever have a clear, short definition of anti-Semitism. I think it's a waste of time to try to redefine it, because you're not going to improve the situation. If you have a better definition, it's not going to go away. So why waste your time on that? Why not waste your time on writing, why do we have anti-Semitism? What have the Jews done to the rest of the world to deserve an anti-Semitic view? Maybe something like that would be worthwhile. So I leave you with this madness this morning. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.